Coming up to a bike now, up against one of the riders from Kazakhstan. There were Godras. And on the far side will be Goldberg from Kazakhstan. I always like these Kazakhstan jerseys with this flash in the centre there. This lovely, it's like a sunflower, isn't it? That they, so many jerseys follow a particular pattern. I like that.
Fun enough, I've seen these jerseys before because just last year I spent some time in South Africa, about 5 weeks, doing a youth training camp, and the actual Kazakhstan cycling team were there, and we stayed in the same accommodation. And the boys were always telling me stories about, because for them to fly out of the country, they had to go via Moscow, I think it was, and they had to. So any money they gained, like US dollars or South African rand or whatever, they had to change back into Russian rubles and then change back into Kazakhstan money.
No.
Yeah, or every time, because they had to fly. If they were flying out the country, they had to fly via Moscow, or
And I suppose when they did that...
But look at that sun. Maybe they got the idea from being in South Africa, because in South Africa you just get sun the whole time.
There must be some significance. There may be some sort of psychic significance actually with Kazakhstan. You never know with these things, do you? There might be some reason back in history that was some emblem of Kazakhstan.
Well, it's a pretty jersey anyway.
You like it?
I like it, yeah.
Smart, the one you gave me. It's got your sponsor's name on it. Actually, it's quite smart. The bits of Dayglow yellow match my Muddy Fox gloves and a yellowish hat I've got as well, Dayglow, which makes people see me along the road, which isn't bad if you're 6'4", I suppose. That's why I get knocked off.
Saying all that, looks like the Kazakhstan lady's got trouble with her toe strap, I think. I think she's using she's not using the clipless pedals like the ski binder. She's using actually toe clips and straps, and it's a shame because usually when you go to the World Championships, usually, because of the world, you have new tyres and new socks, but some of the other countries, some of the other countries, I mean, between Dulwich and Herne Hill.
We should get complaints from Leicester and Manchester and everything else about that, but
it's the fastest track in the country apart from Manchester, which is indoors.
Yes. Well,
so Michael Hubner says.
Right. Okay. I found that interesting because I thought Leicester might have been pretty quick, but I suppose it's down to the surface, the new surface that's been put on that Runweb design track. I should go after this when we get back to the UK, Russell, into my garage and dig around and see what I can find you for your lads. And so next time we meet, I'll find a few. Some of it is a bit ancient now, but in fact I've got some tubs there which I haven't used for ages. You can come with pleasure. Because I'm back onto 700 Siege.
Does that mean
do you use tubs on the track?
Yeah. No. Well, we actually lose high pressures.
Yeah.
700. But does that mean you'll be sending some of those mini Moultons down?
Hey, they make a superb team pursuit bike, but I think the law bans them because the wheels are too small. Watching these two riders on the track then at the moment, Godras of Poland and Goldberg of Kazakhstan.
See, this is, I mean, if you just look at the difference between the two bikes, the Kazakhstan lady's got the older type bars with she hasn't even got tri-bars. So this is, and then you look at the Polish girl, and she's got the tri-bar, she's got the special, they've got disc wheel at the back and the tri-spoke,
and the unusual frame too, that flattened
That's
oval.
right.
Yeah.
So it's a big, I mean, when you look at it, it looks like, someone riding in the 90s and someone riding in the mid-80s.
But we have to be careful on this one because I was talking to Chris Bourne about it as well. With if we look back at when the world hour record went to Tony Rominger, he had a standard-looking diamond frame built of tubing. All right, the tubing, in fact, wasn't the inch and an eighth, and so on. It was just less than the inch in some ways, and it was slightly ovalized to it. Certainly, a good job was done on it by Mr. Colnago, but they did use a very conventional frame as such, except the front forks were so flat, they were about an eighth of an inch if you looked at them front ways on, and the backstays were also very flat indeed. But it was a very minimalist frame. It was light, it was small, it took the power, and no way was he attempting to do anything with aerodynamics like we see with these flat, ovalized big down tubes.
Yeah, maybe not the wheels and the frame, but I mean, in this day and age now, there's nobody who rides, anything over a kilometre, any sort of time trial event without using the tri-bars, because with the tri-bars, you actually get down in that low tuck position.
Well, certainly you're quite right, because Tony Rominger did have the tri-bars on his bike, and that's been used very much since Greg LeMond burst upon the scene. It was in 1989 when he beat
Fignon in the Tour de France,
and used them that time. The hat, the tri-bars, and everything else, and everybody, I won't say was laughing about it, but they suddenly spotted this fellow come along, the triathletes who have no rules and regulations to stop them doing all sorts of zany things. Have really changed the face of conventional cycling. Total conventional cycling, by the way, is watch these two girls go around here. I'll try and mention that. This weekend on October the 1st, Sunday, October the 1st, in Britain, there's a centenary 50 miles time trial, which is taking place, as near as damn it, on the same course that was ridden 100 years ago in the first 50-mile time trial. And there's a lot of tremendous riders out there. The course actually is based on the Samuel Whitbread Upper School at Clifton, that's near Shefford in Bedfordshire, and it goes out onto the A1. In fact, they go through the Black Cat, which I know that very well indeed. They also go past the memorial stone, both going out and coming back, of the great man who thought up the idea of time trialing. There's a Bidlake Memorial. So Bidlake will be remembered, I'm sure, by the riders that go past his memorial in the 50-mile time trial on Sunday. We'll watch these times come up now, and I'll just tell you a bit more about it, because if you live anywhere near that neck of the woods, it's well worth popping out, because not only in a 50-mile time trial, we've got a virtual who's who in cycle racing taking part in it. Some tremendous time trials, tremendous record breakers there as well, and I must say many of them pass their best. They're going to ride as hard as they can do, but we've got some quick men and some ladies as well, and some trikes, and some are riding on vintage machines, so it's going to be quite a good day out. 3:58.6, the best time we got so far.
Does that mean you'll be riding as well?
I was going to enter, actually, Russell, when I read about it a long time ago, because I wasn't certain what we were up to. But on the Sunday, of course, I can't get back there in time now. It's a great disappointment. I'd love to go, because my old mate and tricycle rider, John Arnold, who broke the Land's End with altitude, we've seen it before, and they just, when they go, it's exactly what Graham Aubrey said. The last 2 laps of the pursuit, his lungs were just like they were congealed. You cannot breathe. You go into oblivion. On the screens at the Polish riders, they've always ridden these particular jerseys. Thank goodness so many teams seem to decide to change their jerseys at each of the World Championships and Olympic Games. It's difficult keeping track of them. The Australians have changed their colours this year, makes them, they're very smart and very attractive, but not an easy colour to spot out there on the track. The Austrians white with little red flicks on their jersey as well. So the Austrian team, Stocker, Waffler, Reibenbauer and Muller. The teams so far, the fastest we've got are 4:13s, both from the Lithuanians and the British team. We've been looking through the record books, and according to my notes here, that the time that the British team put up in the quarter-final when they came up against Denmark, the British team then was Chris Boardman, Paul Jennings, Brian Steele and Glenn Sword. So Brian Steele has been around since the Olympics way back in 1992. They went through in 4:14.350, and my co-commentator Russ Williams seems to think that was the British record at the time, 4:14.350, and now at 4:13.552. They've gone that bit faster, and let's hope that's quick enough to get into the final 8, and they might even go a bit faster yet again. Under pressure of a team on the far side of the track, certainly it could pull that extra second or so out when you're in a competition team against team. And if you missed the pictures early on, they caught the Czechoslovakians and then eased back, and the Czechs came thundering through and nearly had a collision course yet again. That would be quite a nasty thing.
So look now, looks like the poles are down to 3 riders, so they could be in all sorts of trouble now. They can't afford to lose anybody else. Remember, the time is taken on the 3rd person across the line.
First place, Lithuania. 2nd, Great Britain. 3rd, New Zealand. 4th, Colombia. 5th place, Argentina. 6th,
very, very close at the moment.
Poland failed to qualify last year for the final 8. They finished in 10th spot with a 4:23. 4:23. It's been interesting to see what they do this time. Austria also failed to qualify. They went through in 4:27.259. We're now getting into that final kilometre as such, so when they hit that one and go through there, it looks like they're certainly going to improve upon their previous times, I would think here. Let's see how they go. They're down to 3 men, the Austrians.
Looks like the 3rd man, the Austrian team, is starting to struggle as well, but it's not far to go now. And they've got a good lead of just over 2 seconds. So both teams down to 3 riders.
That final lap, 3:56 for Austria, Poland 2.6 behind.
Strange, you look at the front wheels, it looks like they're hardly moving. But these guys are doing that at 35 miles an hour.
And they're bunching up for the third man to get himself nicely tucked in on the line to get his time. And there they go. We'll have to wait for official confirmation on that one. As ever, I get my watch out too late. I've forgotten yet again to do the timing. And we'll wait for official confirmation of that one.
Later de cette cinquième qualification, the results of the French qualification. Le temps de l'Autriche, Austria, 4 minutes 17, 840.